Hi guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another Sci-Fi Friday review, and this is kind of exciting because for the very first time we're reviewing Z Nation, which is an absolutely amazing show.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's so much fun. It's really silly and just, horror with irony.
Yeah, it kind of takes all of the zombie cliches and the horror cliches and throws them all into one TV show.
And not just those particular tropes or cliches or whatever. Like, for instance, well, first of all, if you haven't seen Z Nation and you want to avoid spoilers, you're going to want to come back to this video later. But Z Nation is the kind of show you can watch whether or not you've had the whole thing spoiled or not.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's just a good time. But, like, today, well, of course, last season ended, and the nukes were launched, and we were like, holy crap, how are they going to get out of this? Because they kind of wrote themselves into a corner, it seemed like. But no, they actually addressed it pretty reasonably, I thought.
They addressed it in a way that works for the show, but has like zero basis in fact. But that's Z Nation.
But worked for the show they've created.
Yes, yeah.
So that's totally
It's
fine.
completely plausible explanation for this particular show.
Yeah.
It works in their universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But my favorite part is as soon as like the missiles were coming down, I'm like, man, I hope they nuke the fridge, and they did. And I was like, yes. So Dr. Curran, he jumps in the fridge, and they totally flip the script because he gets cooked in the fridge.
Yes.
And so he like kicks the door open, and he's totally on fire, and he's just being roasted. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. That's absolutely. I love how they take other properties and they kind of turn them on their ear and do something kind of funny with it. And that's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah, like we were saying, like they kind of poke fun at zombie films. They poke fun at horror films. They poke fun at themselves. If you watched last season, then you know about the Zombie-nado, which was totally them making fun of themselves for Sharknado.
Yeah, and that was one of the better episodes.
Oh, it was. It was fantastic.
It was really good. I like that episode. Okay, so things that are going on in this episode. First of all, Addie and Mac are back together.
Yes.
And I was really curious how they were going to do that. And basically, after the bombs came down, everything went to hell at the sister compound or whatever that was called.
The 13-year-old boy who they brought back kind of realizes that his dad isn't in Salt Lake City and that he was being fed to the zombies because they didn't want boys around.
Or just exiled. Because testosterone is evil.
Yeah.
That was kind of the thing.
He goes back and burns the whole place, which I'm glad, because when Addie went there, I was like, no, if they write her out, I'm going to be mad, because she's my favorite character. So I'm really, really happy that they've brought her back.
Yeah. One of the things I do hope we get, though, I hope we get a flashback to find out, what Mac was doing, because he went back for Addie, but he didn't actually reunite with her until the compound was burned down. So I'd like to know what he was doing that whole time.
I have my suspicion that basically he just went back and camped out and was like, well, she'll change her mind eventually.
Yeah. He just went and found a tent and stuff.
Yeah, he just kind of camped out outside the perimeter. He wasn't really a threat. He just hung out until she needed him.
So, and we know about what would you say, 7 months, 8 months?
Yeah, it had to have been at least a couple of months, because the crazy blonde chick who was all into Murphy last season is very pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, she's due any day now.
She's
pregnant.
fixing to pop.
Yeah.
So it's got to be at least 8 months, I would think, right? So one of the creepiest moments in the history of TV, I think, was at the end of the episode with, crazy pregnant blonde lady, and she's asking her baby in her belly, which way Murphy is.
Yeah, which way's daddy?
Which way's daddy? And you can see the hand going up against the stomach. It's like, and I'm like, oh God, zombie baby ham in the belly. Ham. Zombie baby hand in the belly. Oh God, I was just like, that was really creepy.
That was very creepy. And it's not just creepy in and of itself, because babies do that, and that's creepy, but the baby responded to her. She is talking to her unborn fetus.
And it knows what she's saying.
Yeah, it understands and answers. That, in combination with the creepy hand, it's just beyond creepy.
Okay, talking about Murphy, he basically, he pretty much just serves for comic relief in this episode.
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things is Cassandra finds him, first of all,
Yeah.
because he left her behind at the end of the last season.
Yeah.
But she found him. She survived the nuclear blasts, and she finds him. And I think her story is actually going to end up being really interesting.
Yeah.
Because she's like zombie, but not zombie. Her personality is completely changed. She's very passive and devoted to Murphy, but she's like super strong, and she was a badass anyway.
What's really interesting is that Murphy is immune, but anybody he bites or infects also becomes immune, but kind of his servant.
Yeah.
Like, they are devoted to him just as much, if not more so, than the zombies.
It works kind of the way vampires do.
Yeah, yeah. It's very much like vampires.
Yeah.
It's just probably what they're going for.
Which I think is really cool. Yeah. There's a mystery going on. There's the number radio station mystery. I'm really interested to see what happens with that. Citizen Z, he's in a bad way.
Yeah.
His entire compound, well, all the walls got blown down, so now his entire compound is basically filled with zombies from the soldiers, I guess, who weren't able to escape. Because there's a crashed plane, and I don't remember from last season if that was always there or if that crashed later or what exactly happened.
I think it was there. It's vaguely familiar, so I'm thinking like they probably panned across it last season without making a big deal about it, but it's vaguely familiar that there was a plane out there.
It seems like last season was so long ago.
I know, it does. But yeah, and in desperation to save humanity, he does like the one thing you shouldn't do, and he offers a reward for Murphy. So now every survivor is out to get Murphy, and it's been 3 years, over 3 years. It's probably close on 4 years now.
Yeah.
And the only people who are alive are pretty badass. So you have like all these mercenary survivors all after Murphy, and Murphy controls the zombies. It's going to be hilarious.
One of the interesting things, one of the things I really enjoy about Z Nation actually is, it's the midst of the zombie apocalypse, but civilization hasn't completely crumbled.
No. There's still small pockets of it.
There are still little towns and little pockets of people that are, well, not living, day-to-day life as normal, but pretty close to it given it's a zombie
figured out how to survive.
Yeah. So I actually really enjoy that. That's kind of refreshing. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to talk about is my favorite probably scene in the history of the show is Warren's zombie slaughter as she's out. She's trying to find some help because Doc has been shot. I love Doc. If he died, I'd be heartbroken.
Oh my God, yeah.
But Doc has been shot, and they're out of food, they're out of water, they're out of everything. So she leaves 10K, who I love also. It's tied between 10K and Doc, between my favorite characters. But she leaves them behind while she goes to find help. And while she's out there, she's giving up. She's ready to die. But she hears somebody yelling for help. It's a little girl, and she goes and just whoops ass on like 8 zombies.
Yeah, she like annihilates 8 zombies and then just collapses.
Yeah. Well, and there's one where like she cuts it in half, and she cuts his arm off, and then she cuts it in half, and then she cuts its head off, and then she's just done. She collapsed. I'm like, man, that's like zombie kill of the century right there.
It was pretty epic.
Until 10K's fire extinguisher kill at the end of the episode.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I was like, this is gonna be awesome. And I was. Anyway, I really love Z Nation. It's going to be a tough show to review, I can tell, because it's a fun show more than a show that you can go, ooh, what does this mean? What do you think this means?
Yeah, there's not a lot of where are they going with this? Where's the relationship here? It's not that. No, it's okay. Which zombie cliche are they making fun of this episode?
Yeah.
What horror cliche are they making fun of? What part of media are they pulling in to kind of pick apart?
Yeah. It's just a really fun show, so we want to keep this particular review really fun and just kind of laugh and joke about it and have fun the way you do when you're watching the show. Mm-hmm. All right, so is there anything else you want to talk about? All right, I think that's everything I want to talk about. If you guys have something you want to talk about, let's talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, we hope you did. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.